RBET has been a huge success for retro Yu-Gi-Oh! With the event starting out as an online series having hundreds of players to eventually grow to IRL events, the Edison community has grown significantly throughout the years. The appeal of the format for a lot of people was its diverse cast of decks. Taking a look at the breakdown of the very first RBET, the event had 144 players and the most represented deck was Diva Hero with 19 players. This represented 13% of the metagame. The second and third most popular decks were Blackwing and Lightsworn, with 14 and 8 players respectively. This means the three most popular decks only comprised 29% of the decks entered. And even looking at the total deck types entered, there are just simply too many to count. RBET2 would kick things up a notch with 207 players. Diva Hero and Blackwings would retain their slots as the two most represented decks, with Diva Hero having 23 players and Blackwing with 19. But a new deck would share the second spot, also with 19 players, Vayu Turbo. Vayu was not a new deck. It had actually won the first RBET, which is likely what caused its uptick in players from RBET1, where it only had 7. And somehow 7 players was good enough for the 5th most represented deck. Beautiful diversity. The rest of RBET2's stats looked very similar to the first. The top 3 decks were still 29% of all decks entered, and Diva Hero, the most popular deck, was only 11% of the field. The event was won by Diva Zombies, and the pie chart for deck types entered looked to be even more diverse than the first. A great showcase for the format. Let's fast forward to present day 2025. Just looking at format library alone, there were 9 events in 2025 that broke the 100 player mark. It's evident the community is still going strong and we're still seeing large-scale events years after the Edison boom. Peak of the Beak 10, an event held on September 10th, 2025, had 158 players. Let's take a close look at that event and see how the stats stack up with the first 2 RBETs. That pie chart looks a little different. Peak 10 saw 2 decks share the top spot for most represented, Vayu Turbo and Blackwings. Both had 27 entries, which is just over 17% of the field. The top 3, when you include Hero Frog's 17 entries, was a whopping 45% of the decks played. Now, I want to make this very clear. This is not a video bashing this format. This is not supposed to be negative. Diversity doesn't always mean better. When rogue decks do well in a more concentrated meta, they are much more likely to be celebrated. If everyone is playing garbage, it's not a badge of honor when your trash happens to stink less. So where did all the decks go? It's not like there was a new ban list or a change to the card pool that shook things up. No external factors can possibly play a role when playing with a fixed rule set and card pool. The only thing that can change is us. So that begs the question, who are we? I believe that the early days of Edison were a feeling out process. I don't think anyone with serious aspirations of doing well in an event was taking a deck they thought was bad to one of these tournaments. They simply didn't have the sample size to know what the best decks were. While looking at those events from earlier that took place nearly 4 years apart, the player counts may be similar, but I believe something else happened in between. I think the weight those events carried has drastically changed. To the competitive player base, these tops matter. If you do well at large tournaments, your voice matters. And I think that really means something to people. So where did that weight come from? Nats 2023 was a pretty big deal. Konami finally recognized that there were people who wanted to play this game at a high level, but they had no interest in the way the modern game was played. This single event brought people out of the woodwork. I spoke with a few competitive players for this video, and a lot of them said this was the moment they started to take retro Yu-Gi-Oh! Seriously. And to me, that's a great thing. People having an outlet in a community to do their favorite thing is really important, and I will always support that. This video was supposed to be about the decks that disappeared from the top tables years ago. Originally, I wanted to know what happened to your Machina Gadgets and your Rescue Cats and your Flame Velves. Truth be told, it's simple. Deck Devastation Virus and Royal Oppression. It doesn't take some deep analysis to figure that out. Vayu started playing Return, Blackwing found consistency with the draw traps, and a lot of decks were just left behind. People wanted to win, and who can blame them? With the prizing offered by a lot of modern unsanctioned tournaments, there are real stakes here. It's just sometimes things are more fun when there isn't. I've never really liked change. I remember in 5th grade we were given an assignment. We were supposed to write a letter to ourselves and open it 20 years in the future. I don't know where that letter is, but I do remember what is in it. It said I was really excited to start playing bass, and that I couldn't wait to have my friends over that weekend to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Making these videos has really been a blessing for me. And I decided I wanted to do YouTube again. It was right at the start of the pandemic. My friends and I had been playing old formats together since 2017, and I just wanted to show people that they could too. That it's possible to hop on Dueling Book and play Yu-Gi-Oh! With your friends the way you remembered it. And for me, that was enough. I remember spending so much time in 2018 and 2019 on Yu-Gi-Oh! Top Decks, studying old lists, the history of the game. I wanted to know everything. I wanted to own everything. To me, the history of this game is important, and it needs to be preserved. As of 2025, Yu-Gi-Oh! Top Decks no longer exists, and its archive of the game's history is gone with it. While there are still resources still online, none of them are as comprehensive as Top Decks was. What good is Top Decks if the decks of today's Edison look nothing like they did in 2010? What good is it if they look nothing like they did in 2022? When I first started playing retro Yu-Gi-Oh!, I felt like I had dug up a time capsule. But inside the time capsule, it was just an old Zune and a Nail Yakupov rookie card. Please, for the love of God, someone get that reference. Not only do we have better things now, we had better things then. We just didn't know it. Time is a funny thing. We're all susceptible to nostalgia. Every last one of us. There's an irony about being nostalgic for a time that in itself is based in nostalgia. It's like, hey, remember back in 2019 when we were remembering what it was like in 2010? Trust me, the humor isn't lost on me. When I started making videos over 5 years ago, there weren't a lot of us out there doing it. Now there are tons of us. And just about everyone is better than me. And that's really awesome. People get to see retro Yu-Gi-Oh! From tons of different places. And that's great. And with that comes collaboration, innovation, and dare I say, progress. I've gotten to meet and interact with a ton of really cool people because of this community, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. Knowledge isn't something you just forget. You'll only be able to see your favorite movie for the first time once. That plot twist in your favorite video game will never have the same impact the second time around. But the thing I want to stress the most is, that's okay. If you're struggling to adapt, I don't know, get good. Thank you for being with me all these years, and thank you for watching my video.